Today, we've got a story for you well, it's pretty incredible. It's a story about transformation, about a man who went from being a terror in his community to a respected senior manager at a bank. This is the story of Rajesh. I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. It sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? A man whose name used to make people nervous, now in a position of trust and authority. How does that even happen? And look, this isn't some celebrity comeback story with endless money and resources. We're talking about a totally normal guy, an ordinary person named Rajesh, and that's what makes his journey so powerful and so relatable for all of us. All right, so how does someone get to that point? Let's rewind the tape, go all the way back to the beginning, before all the chaos, when Rajesh's life looked completely different. You see, Rajesh started out with so much potential. He was just a normal kid from an ordinary family, but he was a brilliant student. By all accounts, he had a really bright future ahead of him. But you know how it goes sometimes. After his 10th standard exams, he fell in with the wrong crowd. And that's when the downward spiral started. First, it was just alcohol. Seemed harmless enough. But then that turned into whiskey and cigarettes. And before he knew it, he took that last devastating step into drugs. And this is where everything changes. What started out as a habit, something he thought he could control, it completely took over. It became an addiction. Think of it like a switch flipping in your brain. It's not a choice anymore, it's a need. The intoxication wasn't a want. It was a demand his body and mind were making. And that need, it dragged him down into the absolute darkest chapter of his life. He wasn't just an addict anymore. He became this self-proclaimed king of chaos. This quote really tells you everything you need to know about where his head was at. When he was drunk, he felt powerful, invincible. He honestly believed no one, and I mean no one, could say no to him. It was a total delusion, and a dangerous one at that. Okay, so let me tell you about this one incident that just shows you how bad things got. One day, Rajesh sees a young boy from the neighborhood. He calls him over, hands him 20 rupees, and tells him, "Go get me some cigarettes." Simple enough, right? Well, the kid was probably scared out of his mind. He just refused, turned around, and ran. Now, in Rajesh's mind, this wasn't just a scared kid. Oh no, this was an insult, a direct challenge to the king. So Rajesh, completely calm, just follows the boy, doesn't even say a word. He just walks up and slaps him so hard the kid is knocked out cold right there on the spot. I mean, that's how far gone he was. But here's the crazy part. Deep down, somewhere inside, he knew this wasn't who he was supposed to be. He had this dream of a normal white-collar life, a life with respect. But his reality? It was the total opposite. Just daily chaos, addiction, and violence. And he felt trapped. He knew he had to get out. He tried. He was taken to rehab 3 different times. But as you can see here, none of them stuck. 0. It's like his own mind was working against him, always coming up with an excuse to escape, pulling him right back in. So you have to wonder, right? After failing so many times, what could possibly change? What was the thing that finally worked? Well, that brings us to the turning point. Through all of it, the violence, the despair, the person everyone was afraid of, there was one thing that never, ever gave up on him: his family. They were his rock, his one constant source of support. And that support, that was the fuel he needed. Something inside him finally clicked. He dug deep, found whatever strength he had left, and made a promise to himself. For the first time, he really, truly believed it. I can do this. And this time, it was different. This wasn't just a quick stay. He committed to 1 full year in rehab. No running away, no excuses, an entire year focused on one thing: taking his old life apart, piece by piece, and building a new one from scratch. And what happened after that year? Honestly, it's the part of the story that's almost hard to wrap your head around. After hitting absolute rock bottom, Rajesh began this incredible climb back up. Okay, get this. After a year of intense work on himself, he starts studying for a competitive bank exam. And within his first year out of rehab, he passes it. And it doesn't stop there. Just 2 years into his new job, he's promoted to senior manager. It's just wow. And just like that, the story comes full circle. The guy who dreamed of a respectable, white-collar life, that's exactly the life Rajesh is living today, a million miles away from the chaos he left behind. So why are we telling you this story? Because what Rajesh went through, the lessons from his journey, they're for all of us. This is about so much more than just one person's fight. Look, the biggest takeaway here is that your past does not get the final say. Addiction doesn't have to define your entire future. Rajesh is living proof that you can completely change your life if you just keep trying. But it all starts with that first step, believing in yourself, even when it feels totally impossible. And that really leaves us with one final thought. Rajesh completely flipped the script on his own life, right? He went from villain to hero. And it makes you think, doesn't it? What's the story you're letting define you?